I would imagine that we've all heard the expression, you get what you ask for. And this is what the psalmist is talking about in Psalms 106 as we've been studying through this. And he's been talking about the experience in the wilderness of the children of Israel and how that they rejoiced over the crossing of the Red Sea, and they praised God until the next hard time came along, and all of a sudden they're not praising anymore. And it says they began to lust after things there in the wilderness, and God was not pleased. And it says that God gave them the request, and he sent leanness into their souls. Now, if you're like I am, there have been times in my life when things were just not right, and I knew they were not right. And I asked myself, I said, what's going on here? And I remember one time I said something to my wife about that. She says, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you need to straighten it out because this is affecting both of us. And she was right. And so you go to the Father and you say, Father, what's going on? Well, God has made us to understand here that they were lusting after things. They had lost their faith. They were no longer giving God glory and praise for the great victory of the crossing of the Red Sea. And now they were in a time of doubt and despair. And as a result of that, see, they affected the blessing. And there's such a tremendous principle here about behaviors and blessings. Because I believe that God truly wants to bless his people. I do. I believe that. But I believe that there are consequences for behavior and our actions and, yes, the condition of our heart. And when we begin to lust after things, or we just become selfish, and we come to the place where we're holding back in things that we should be giving unto the Lord because we don't trust him. He says, he'll send leanness. Leanness. He said, well, Pastor King, what's leanness? I mean, that simply means that the blessings aren't flowing like they were because we've made the choice that, no, God, I really don't trust you. I don't believe you're going to meet all my needs. So I've got a little bit here, and I'm just going to hold on to it as tight as I can because I'm afraid that if I give this little bit up, then I will be destroyed. And as long as that's your concept, then yes, you are in peril because you trust not in the Lord. And, you know, we have the scripture in the Psalms where it says, give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, good measure, shaken together, will men give into your bosom. That's a principle of God. That's a principle of God. But when we lose our faith, we lose our trust, then yes, leanness will follow. And it'll be a consequence of our disobedience, a consequences of our lack of faith. Because you remember, Scripture simply tells us that without faith, it is impossible to please God. It's Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.